everybody, welcome to the channel for a new battle report. After our training round with Team France, we did another one with Team Poland, so very interesting because they are one of the best countries around the world playing 9th Age, so really nice to play a competitive round against them. I was paired against Azurix, who is playing EOS for them for this round, so my list is similar to the last battle, just put the Kadim Titan, Shooty Titan and some stuff on the Vizier instead of the Overlord. And other than that, the rest remains pretty much the same. My opponent is playing the following list. He has two characters, a fighty one. We have the Prelate with the Locket of Suna, and then the Inquisitor, who has the 4 shots multi-wound and the attack multi-wound as well. So quite interesting, very mobile model. Then he has an Adept Divination, Apprentice, Pyromancy with the book. I felt this small mage is really nice because the fact that you can choose your spell number 1 from each law of the magic pass is really nice, and then you can pick basically spell 2, 3 or 4 from Pyromancy, which is always something that you can use due to the also new number 2 spell. And then he has a 2 martial BSB general, 4 scoring unit. He has a big unit of heavy infantry who is the parent unit. Then he has 20 heavy infantry as a support unit, also Albard. Has 10 cavalry with great weapon, the handgun unit, 2 units of rangers, the 3 war machines, so to say. So we have cannon, steam tank, volley gun, and then a brick of 30 flagellants. So as you can see, a lot of shooting unit, all of that is shooting basically. And then he has 2 big combat block and some support pieces, and then 2 characters also to cause trouble. So interesting list. We play all the ground on the first flank, so it's the same objective and deployment for all the round, which is yeah, that's how it is basically. And spell selection, yeah, just picked all the damage spell. I felt if I have a look at his list, he has no big Death Star, nothing crazy where I need a lot of buffs, so I felt it's better to take all the blast and then just rely on hereditary and also the attribute from alchemy to buff combats. I can also throw pentagram in combat. I can use the breast weapon in combat as well, so I have some spells that I can still use in combat. On the right, he picked obviously the reroll to hit divine attack and fate judgment from divination. He also had enabling strike on the prelate. Then he had all the prayers. He picked the cloak of cinders, altered side, and he had also glory of gold as a bounce spell. So a lot of magic for him. Very nice setup, I felt, with plenty of damage. Matchup analysis, so he has huge range damage. I need to minimize his divination impact since I have like 1/3 of my army very sensitive to divination. It's not going to be easy. Also minimize the impact of his shooting, and obviously be careful about the Inquisitor can do. Getting first turn will be an advantage, and I should have a good chance to win the secondary. Why am I saying that? The 2 basic question. I should be good better than him in close combat, so I should be able to push up the field where he will be mainly looking to win it from distance with so many range damage in the list. So that's why getting a point on the map, which is all the ground, should get me an advantage, and overall I picked it as a neutral matchup. Also, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but I recorded before this battle report matchup analysis video, which is just a video previous this one. If you haven't watched it yet, I strongly recommend you to have a look at it, because I go much deeper in the matchup analysis, and I think it's quite interesting to see how I anticipate if I drop for first turn or if I counter drop if I play second. I did all of this before playing the game, obviously, because it's more interesting. So it's also interesting to see how accurate were my prediction, what did I didn't see right, and what did my opponent in comparison to what I predicted, basically. Anyway, move on. Let's move to deployment. So my opponent wandered for side, and he cut the map in a different way than I expected and then I would have done. He gave me the house, but on my weak flank, and my strong flank I have nothing crazy, and he has a ruin here, and his strong flank basically is facing a house. So we can debate. I see why he tried to do that. Is basically it's a zone where it's going to be very hard for me to attack, so I expected his war machine to be somewhere around here, which I think makes sense. But at the same time, placing unit here in a ruin is not so helpful due to the DTs that it's going to generate. And I can also have single model to play around the house, so it's not going to be so easy to maneuver and to really take advantage from this strong flank to push towards the middle. So it's creating like such kind of a traffic jam, or it's like a bottleneck, so to say. So I don't know what to think about the cutting of the map, but we will talk about it at the end of the game. So obviously I dropped for first turn, I placed the mobile Titan on the left, the working Earthquake, then I place Slave, the Bastion unit with the 2 General BSB, other Slave, the Infernal Warrior 6 wide, the 3 Anointed Pet Weapon, Incarnate, the Shooty Titan, and then on the far right the Great Weapon, Anointed. I expected somehow him placing maybe like the Steam Tank or the Inquisitor here on the left, on the right, try to be annoying somewhere, so I felt having strength 7 Anointed could be really useful on this part of the map. My opponent surprised me a bit in the counter deployment. Like I said in my video matchup analysis, I would have expected his Flagellant to go on the other side than the Bastion, but he decided to put them really facing me, so I expected some pressure from them. And then he placed those guys quite far away from the middle and kind of zoning the right flank, but quite far away, they can move back and so on. And then on the left, some pieces that I didn't expect him to be so strong on the left due to the house, but he placed the cavalry with the Inquisitor that my lecture of it at the deployment stage was that the Inquisitor would like to jump here and then move quickly to the south part of the map outside of the occultism range, try to be annoying for the Titan, which is not an easy fight for the Inquisitor to win. So we will see how that goes. He plays here a unit that can be a chaff, that can cause some trouble to the Titan, and then here the Steam Tank, Voligan is here in the front. Could have also put the the Voligan within the ring to get the cover in case I want to push hard and shoot with the Bastion at some point. The cannon here on the back, all the characters in the small unit, here's the handgun, and the prelate, basically. So let's move on to turn 1. I push hard on the right flank because I have a lot of space that I can gain. So basically I move out of 24 of the Voligan with these 2 units. I march with those guys, and here since it's a traffic jam, I have like a Kadim Titan too much on the right side, and I don't want to get too close to divination as well. I move a bit more to the center. In the middle I push slightly forward, place the Bastion already within 6 of the middle, and move those guys slightly forward as well, ready to charge, giving him only long charge, and the Titan for the moment doesn't move. What I try to do to minimize his range damage, so no divination, no cannon on this Titan, which is nice, or hard to get divination. I mean, you can get this guy maybe like 24 stuff, but it's not so easy to get. Here on the right I have the Kadim Titan exactly outside 36 of the tank, meaning he needs to move to shoot me, and if he doesn't move he cannot shoot me basically. The cannon can get me, but with light cover, so he's not going to get the +1 to hit me. So I try to minimize stuff as much as I can. And here basically the Voligan can only shoot those 3 units, so 2 slaves that are really, I don't care about it, and the Bastion, which is soft cover. So it's going to be okay. Magic phase, I get a Grave Call on 4 dice against his 6 dice, so lucky me, I kill 5 Flagellant, and then I got some the Breast Weapon and the Pentagram, which did a total of other 4 Flagellant, so I kill 9 turn 1, which is definitely not bad. The reason behind this, first of all, I had no range to Voligan. I didn't want to be in threat of being charged by the Flagellant, and I felt due to deployment the Flagellant are for me the immediate threat. As soon as I deal with them, I will feeling having more control on the middle of the map. I don't want them to come fighting too soon, so basically I want to reduce them as soon as possible to then finish them with the shooting. I also want to like seize the opportunity to be facing the Flagellant with my Bastion. His turn 1, he moved the Flagellant a bit forward, the rest just shuffles around in the magic phase. Nearing strikes with 3 dice against 3, goes through and managed to do 2 wounds to the Incarnate, could have been worth. Then he gets on 4 dice against my 3, a reroll to hit on the shooting on the marksman. Is going to do a total of 6 wounds to the Incarnate. I realized after the battle that we played this spell wrong. We made him divine also on the shooting, but actually it's only in close combat. I realized that afterwards. I don't know why I forgot about it, or my opponent, but basically he did 6 wounds this time. So everything that will be done due to this spell will be considered as divine attack during this game. Then the cannon, first turn of event, he rolled a 1 and a 1, so it's the end of the game for him, and that's already huge. But then the Steam Tank compensate a bit and managed to do 3 wounds to my Bastion. And also 1 warrior dies in the process. My turn 2. I activate the first piece of chaff, but not in the best way. I could have been facing him basically, so I don't know why I did this turn to wheel him 90 degrees. I think it was still possible to chaff the same way, but just facing him, which would have been much better, which allows me to move my Titan back here, just having a look at the middle of the map, still not shootable by the tank, and also quite far away from divination. Here I move back a bit sideways, still quite far away from also divination and cannon, and I bring 2 scoring units within 6 of the middle of the board just to claim the first point. I'm not sure if it was worth it to do that with them. They are the most sensitive guy to the volley gun, and right now they are going to be targeted by volley gun, which is not great. So I forgot a bit about it. By moving within 6, should have kept them, I think, backwards, and just move that a bit more forward for the Infernal Warrior to score within 6. I think that was perfectly doable. No problem to push the slave a bit forward. They create some troubles, force my opponent to deal with them. So I think it would have been much better to do that instead of risking the Anointed. And you will see they will get punished for that. In the magic phase, I get a breast weapon and the pentagram, which kill a total of 6 flagellant. And then I shoot with my bastion, kill another 3. So again, 11 killed, so there is only 10 left, so huge job done. Here we can debate whether or not it was necessary to chaff, but I have the feeling I can also have a weak magic phase, and then he's still too strong for me to engage with the bastion, even with shooting and stand and shoot. Could be risky, so I don't want to risk that basically at this point in the game. Let's move to Eastern 2. That's the stat, sorry. If I would have positioned the slave, I felt it's quite interesting because he's going to charge me in the flank. So I only have 8 attacks, but if I would have positioned in the front, it's 15 attacks. And as you can see, the math, the stat is not so bad actually in the front. I can kill 3 for flagellant. There is only 10 left. So in 3 rounds of combat, he should be all dead. So it's kind of an even combat due to the fact that I have 19 guys alive. So I could have done it differently. I think the chaff with the 12, I could have been in the front and do it better. So yeah, a bit disappointed here about this choice. He's done 2, so he charged my flank. Surprised me by reforming the cav to move close to the bastion, so he wants to kill the bastion as soon as possible. I understand that, but then he also gets in my shooting range, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, yeah, shuffles around. Is going to try to punish those anointed for their movement forward. In the magic phase, I dispel on Earring Strike because now he's in range of my Titan, so I cannot allow that. I just use 4 dice and I get that out. I get +1 to hit on the volley gun. I managed to do 1 wound to my Bastion and 5 wounds to the Anointed. So yeah, well done from the volley gun. And close combat, I will do 3 wounds to him. He did 7 to me. So I crumble a bit. I'm almost dead with those guys, but still sticking him in close combat. My turn 3. I countercharge with second slave unit, which was probably not needed if I would have be in the front. So that's what I was saying. It's like costing me another turn. And here I position myself to shoot at those guys and magic them. Here I move again back because I lost so many wounds. They are already a bit out of the game, so I move back. Here I continue to move sideways, so I'm preparing some aggression here later on, but this takes time. In the magic phase, I get Grave Call on the volley gun and I one-shot it. The stat is here for the volley gun, so not so crazy, actually pretty average. Yeah, slightly better than average to kill it in one go, but that's how I did. And then I shoot with the Bastion onto the cavalry. I managed to kill 4. He passes the check, obviously, panic check, but still 4 guys dead. And as you can see, also normal roll, so to say, meaning if he stays too much in the open, he's going to die at some point. So yeah, looking forward to see how he will adapt to that. Obviously he has a ruin, so he can move back and try to get the cover and stuff, but still it's not blocking me from scoring the center. And now I'm in well position with the 2 scoring units to get a second point because I got it turn 1. He's turn 3, I close combat. I crumble some guys, but we still stuck. I didn't roll that well. Reform that way, so close combat. He made a maneuver to come here again to the flank and shoot onto the Bastion. I don't see him with the Titan, but again I'm able to shoot him, so we will see how that goes. Those guys move to the side to shoot me. I move the prelate, still the tank doesn't move to continue to shoot at my Bastion, try to kill it. In the magic phase, I dispel an Earring Strike, he gets reroll to hit and the plus, and I think altered sight on those guys, the marksmen. And he also got reroll to wound in this close combat. He managed to do 2 wounds to my Bastion with the Inquisitor, which is nice. Calls a unlucky, rolls a 1 to wound on the Bastion with the tank, could have killed it. And then he did 1 wound to my Titan here with shooting and 3 wounds on the Incarnate. We kill each other a bit, but we're still stuck, and he killed this slave unit. I get second point for all the ground, so it's 2 up. and my turn 4. So here I see some opportunities to activate the game. As you can see, for the moment I only suffer here 1 wound on this Titan. Those 2 units are a bit out, so I will move them out, but I still have 2 fresh Titan and 3 turns to play, and those guys also as well. So I see some opportunities here to try to basically engage. So what I will do, first I take this charge, the Titan on a 9 Swift Ride. Basically I had no downside. If I fail charge I would then end up here, but not being blocked by the impassable, so I can still charge in the middle, can still be active. So I felt it's a good moment to come into combat, and I had an overrun on 8 Swift Ride to come on the flank of those guys, which I felt he can counter charge me obviously, but might do quite damage on them and be a problem in the middle of the map, which allows me to push even more and then secure the old ground. So I felt this is a good opportunity, so I took it and made it. Here I moved forward 7, here I moved back, those guys didn't move much, those guys moved to the side, so I'm out of arc looking at their flank, and that's pretty much it. Those guys could have moved a bit more forward, but yeah, no huge difference, and here we're still stuck in combat. In the magic phase I got Grave Call, kill 5 cavalry, so there is no cavalry anymore. I'm able to get, yeah, it was I think strength 6, I get Mark for Doom, that did 1 wound to the Inquisitor. I get reroll to wound here, and then the breast weapon was dispelled. The Bastion killed the Inquisitor, 1 to 1 left, no problem at all. And then close combat I had reroll to wound to make sure I killed those guys, so I killed them all. I overrun but just fell short. I rolled a 6, but not bad. I dealt with the cavalry, dealt with the Inquisitor. His turn 4, it charged me in the flank with the prelate, tried to come with the tank, but just fell short. It needed an 11 and got a 10. Other than that, nothing too crazy. In the magic phase, he wanted to get reroll to wound, but I dispelled that with 4 dice to be sure that it doesn't reroll to wound anything in close combat. Then he got Cloak of Cinders on his prelate. Did 1 wound on the Incarnate, a total of 5 wounds on the Incarnate with the shooting, and then, yeah, that was it. In close combat, he rolled a couple of ward saves, so I didn't do much. I think I did a total of 1 wound, and he did to me a total of 3, so he rolled a bit higher than expected. I was steadfast on 2 wounds left, so I passed my steadfast check and managed to reform. My turn 5. So we are 3 up for me on all the ground, so I'm already winning the secondary, so that's a nice +3. On my turn 5, I attempted charge here, but I'm going to fail it. It was an 8. I can stand and shoot with those guys, so I managed to do 2 wounds on the stand and shoot. I would have liked to impact here, because a full Kadim against strength 4 Albard on the Horde formation would have done a lot, and then counter charge next round with the Anointed, I think would have been probably enough to get rid of those guys over 4 rounds of combat. But I don't get it, so I fail the charge on 8. Those guys push to the flank, out of range. Here we're still stuck in combat. I move my Bastion within 12 of the tank, and here I move away with the Incarnate to not give full points. In the magic phase, Mark for Doom on the tank get dispel. I fail the breast weapon, roll a 1 and a 3, so get 1 dice back, and I'm able to get Pentagram on those guys to do a couple of wounds, and mainly get reroll to wound in the close combat, which was very important. The Bastion managed to do 3 wounds to the tank, which is really nice. And close combat, I managed this time to roll 4 wounds. So last round, I was a bit underperforming, and this round, overperforming. I did like 2 and 2. So really nice, really nice. On his turn 5, so yeah, the tank has 3 wounds left. On his turn 5, he counter charge with the tank onto the Titan. He moves to put me in the front. Those guys don't move to continue to shoot me, and that's it. In the magic phase, I Binding Scroll, Fate Judgment. I don't want to have to deal with that on this Titan. I dispel reroll to wound in close combat, obviously. He get +1 altered sides on the shooting unit, and also reroll to hit on the shooting unit. And he also got on 2 dice against my 3 dice Cloak of Cinder again on the prelate, which was a bit unfortunate, but can happen. Shooting, he put everything here on my Anointed. Didn't roll that well, managed only to do 2 wounds. And then close combat, I'm going to put all my attack on him on 4+, and then 5+, no, not 5+, 4+ rollable, and the 4+ rollable due to the Cloak of Cinders, and the grind on the tank, basically. Try to finish him. He's on one up, 3 wounds left, so definitely doable. I'm going to do 2 wounds to the tank and nothing on the prelate. He kills me in return, so I'm dead, but he's boss model on 1 wound, and now it's my turn to play, so it's not that bad. My turn 6. I elected here to try to go for it, but Stand and Shoot did 4 wounds to my Titan, so he's almost dead. I went with both. I think it wasn't the right decision, but we'll talk about that later. Here I push forward to finish those guys, move a bit back, move here back, move back. Magic Face. Mark for them on the tank and Dispel. I Grave Call the tank, kill it, and the Bastion finishes the prelate. So perfect, got a lot of points from this sacrifice of the Titan. Close combat, I do 1 save with the Titan, so I'm still alive, do some wounds, but I don't roll that crazy. That's the Stand and Shoot of those guys, but I counted divine attack because we made it divine, but it's not divine from the shooting, so actually it should have been less likely than that. So it's definitely, I think, an orange area because he did 4 wounds but without the divine, so I think it's even less likely than that, but still managed to do it this time. I had luck before, so I cannot complain too much. That's the stat of the Grave Call against the tank, so nothing crazy to make 1 wound. And the same on the prelate here as well. It's definitely logical that I finish those 2 models. Let's move on to his 6. So yeah, we are that way. I try to save those guys that suffer a couple of wounds. I'm going to lose the Titan no matter what. In the Magic Phase, he get -1 to wound on the close combat. And I Dispel, roll 2 hit divine. If 5 dice hit, I have 6 dice, I Dispel it. Close combat, he kills the Titan, I do some wound, he passes the steadfast. Here he charge and catch my slaves. And that's it. So we ended up with a 15-5 because I got secondary and 12 on points. We both kill a lot of stuff on the other army, but I managed to end up on top, so really nice. Post-game analysis. So really happy to start. Like I said, I think it's a key role in this type of matchup to be able to start and inflict range damage, so quite happy about that. Deployment, I was rather happy with the matchup I had. Like I told you in the matchup analysis video, I expected the Flagellant to be on the other side of the Bastion, so I was surprised that they were facing my Bastion, and I was able to kill them quite effectively despite my suboptimal choices. I was very patient with Kadim, especially the Kadim Titans. A few opportunities for his War Machines and Divination. And then once I put them in the game, they were quickly active and in close combat. Especially the Fighty Titan that did a lot of job despite him dying. Turn 1 EOS, obviously the Misfire Cannon. I think it's a big turn of event early on that he cannot shoot anymore with the cannon for the rest of the game. Turn 2 ID, I should have front chaff like I said. I think the chaff was needed to just be safe that he cannot engage against the Bastion. But I should have just placed it in the frontal way, it was definitely doable. Turn 2 AOS, yeah, I felt his cavalry move was never going to end well, and it didn't. In 2 turns, everything was dead. Turn 4 Infernal Dwarves, a nice open for the Titan, got a lot of wounds on the prelate and the tank, so despite him dying, I still did a lot of job. And then this 50-50 charge with the other Kadim against the Albard on 8 on 2 dice, which I think it was not worth it to charge again on turn 6. I should have just retreat turn 6, say, okay, I missed the opportunity, let's move away. I'm not going to get 40 Albards in 2 turns of combat, so it was a bad choice, and it lost me 500 points, so it's not so smart from me. And the Bastion unit took an amazing amount of points. I think worth mentioning, it finishes a lot of targets, did a lot of jobs. I think from the perspective Empire of Sonnstahl, I would question the deployment. I felt he was not in the best shape he could have been, especially thinking about the cavalry and the tank being close to the Rhin and a bit far away from my lines. Also, the Albard not in the middle of the map, we can also discuss about that. I think a couple of points are debatable. I felt I was able to exploit that, and he could have been maybe in a better situation without this house being, I think, more. It was for me, I was able to use it to my advantage, basically. Not suffer range damage and still be a threat, so I felt it was better for me than him. This house, being in his strong flank, made it harder for him to attack and force him to take some, strange reforms to get into position to shoot me. But at the same time, I was able to hide and I didn't suffer too much, and the Bastion is definitely better than just 4 shots from the Inquisitors, so in a 1-1 range battle it was never going to end well. guys, that's all for this battle. So thanks a lot for watching the game. Thanks to my opponent for the game. Was nice. I don't know how the round will end up because we only play until now four games and it's pretty even. So we'll see the rest. But it's definitely a nice training against very good teams. So quite nice. Something I will hope to do again this year. Guys, I will do some more trainings. I will keep you posted about my games. I have a tournament at the end of the month. So definitely some exciting stuff coming up on the channel. Take care. Bye.